No, I.
What's up, everyone? Hello. We are live. The boys were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I was not very interested.
Irene, you were not even here.
I was here for like the last 2 minutes of it. I was like, okay, we need to talk about Dune now. So, anyways, what's up, everyone? What's up? This is a very professional show. I mean, this is just gonna be a chill review.
Like,
I saw the movie last week.
Irene bullying Chimera for liking Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's true. Yeah, but no, we're totally not here to talk about the new Dune movie at all. No, I saw the movie last week, and I just figured I'd come on and talk about what I thought. I'm not a huge Dune fan, but I've read Dune and Dune Messiah, and I haven't even finished the trilogy, but I read those first two books. I haven't seen any of the other movies and the shows, but I liked the movie. I thought we would like kind of parse through, what was good. I'm not going to start out with spoilers. I'm just going to start out saying generally what I like, but then when I get into spoiler territory, I'm going to, let everybody know. So
I mean, I'm probably like on the same boat. I mean, I haven't even watched the movie. I mostly just, I've heard reviews of the story, and I remember, as I mentioned before, I loved the documentary talking about Yarowaski's version when he was developing the movie. So that's what I know of it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, if you want to just, it's no problem. I mean, about Jodorowsky's production hell movie that never happened. Doesn't matter. We're just here to chill and talk about. Yeah, the concepts are really cool, and you've seen like the concepts, and I want to talk about like the art design as well. So, whether you have seen it or not, all are welcome. It's just another chill review stream. The spice must flow, yes, and for me, the spice is coffee, and whiskey. Coffee and whiskey. Can't live without it. Oh yeah. By the way,
hot sauce and paprika are spices.
Well, hot sauce I'll agree with. I do also like hot sauce. My channel I'm less than 500 watch hours to monetization. Ding, ding, ding! Yay!
So 250 2-hour live streams.
Well, like that's not how watch hours work. I don't know. It's like it's every person that's watching contributes to watch hours. So, because I needed like 1,000 just a couple weeks ago. So this is really great progress. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I know people have been helping out. So if anyone has gone back and watched some older videos and stuff, and of course, for anyone tuning into these streams, you guys are helping a lot. I really want to get a monetization. Like, I'm not expecting to get rich off YouTube. But it's like, it would be nice to have super chats, like to buy some extra coffee off the change I earn on YouTube.
What are super chats, guys?
Oh my gosh. All right, you don't live on YouTube like I do. No, super chats are.
I've heard like streamers mention them, but it's just like, yes, the super chats, the ones that are chats are super.
Yeah, you basically have your message read if you contribute.
Yeah, you can pay. You can so for channels that if you have enough views and if you have enough watch hours, YouTube monetizes your channel, which means you can make money. And that's not only making money through ads. It means that instead of just commenting like you normally do in a live chat, you can pay like a certain amount of money. Like if you can pay as much as $1, $2, and depending on how much you pay, the length of your message limit, the word count is higher, and that message is highlighted, and it's expected for streamers to read super chats out loud. So and it's for channels that have a ton of comments. That's a good way to help your comments stand out. Because what if like some people have like thousands of live viewers, so you can super chat to actually have your comment pop out.
Yeah. When I went on streams, like I would comment on stuff, but I would just get lost, and then I never understood. Like, okay, well, I guess I'm here for a while and just listening, but I can't really say anything that would be heard by anyone.
Oh my gosh, Nick's a normal person and doesn't live on YouTube all day like me.
Well, I was picking on Ricada because he was streaming about the Rittenhouse trial, and he was getting a shitload of super chats. He got a $100 super chats from a lot of people.
Oh yeah. I mean, his channel is getting pretty big. A lot of bigger channels get like I've seen like $500 super chats. Like there's no I don't know, there has to be upper limit, but yeah, it's just I mean, I like some spare change. That's all. I don't know, if I can get
Well,
rich on
like
YouTube. But
unless you're
anyhow,
Friday Night Tides to get like $500 super chats.
yeah,
I mean,
well,
it'd be
they're
nice to just be able to like pay for just some food and stuff while even just hanging out. That's
yes.
fun.
That's what I'm saying. It's it's of course I do this because I like it. I like hanging out with people who like the shit, comics and pop culture. But I also like paying rent and eating. That's what I'm saying. That's good. Well, not rent. I don't
I
pay
like
rent, but I have a
eating.
mortgage.
I don't know if I like paying rent.
I don't have rent. I have a mortgage. I like paying mortgage because it's not money wasted. I actually own this house. All right. So let me catch up on the chat real quick.
Odd flex. Okay.
Hello, John. What? Was that a flex? It's just the truth. The shit. It's a flex to say I have a mortgage instead of rent. It's weird.
It's basically the same thing. You're still getting fucked.
No, I'm not. I mean, it depends on if you get a good rate and if your interest isn't too high, and if you can. What you have to be smart about, you have to pay towards your interest first. You pay off your interest and then pay towards the actual mortgage. So you're not paying all that extra money that they try to make you, like after above the house price, they try to make you earn money off of you due to interest. You can knock that down. Also, you can like knock off your prime mortgage insurance and all that stuff. So if you get a good interest rate and buy it, you don't you're smart about it. It's not. Also, it's not money down the drain. Is my point. If you're paying rent, you're this money that just evaporates. I'm gonna own this house in a few years, and it's gonna it'll be money back in my pocket. So anyhow, hi John. Welcome, everybody. Time of Dying. Hello. Mark Senga says, I got into Dune from the TV miniseries from HBO. Yeah, I haven't seen that one. Norrin Rad Turbo says, I like the sense of scale in it. The backgrounds looked enormous and real to me. Yeah, I really like the design and the visuals. That was definitely one of the best parts about it for me.
Yeah, it's the same director as Blade Runner 2049.
Yep. The only other movie I know that he did was Blade Runner. And
Oh, so Kamara, you've also watched it, right?
I've watched half of it.
He just said he was watching it right now.
Oh, okay.
I downloaded it for free.
Of course you did. Cheapskate.
Well, I don't know if I like the movie yet, so.
It's worth the theater experience. This is like the first movie that I've seen in theaters where I want to go see it in theaters again. I feel like it's totally worth it. And I don't give a fuck about going to see anything in theaters, and I don't give a shit about IMAX or anything, but it was worth it to see this in IMAX. Because I'm like, usually I'm just not wowed by CGI anymore. I'm like, I know they can make things look cool, but this was more than just like, how in a superhero movie or Marvel movie, it's like, wow, spectacle and CGI, but it doesn't feel like there's that much thought put into the design. With Dune, I felt like the concepts were very well thought out. They weren't phoning it in at any part. For most of it, I thought the Bene Gesserit, I liked the older designs for the Bene Gesserit more, and I thought Baron Harkonnen could have been like more grotesque and a couple of things, but in general, like the designs were really
cool. That's the big floating fat guy, right?
That's the fat guy, yeah. In the presence of Lensrad, House Irene exists. House Irene, that would be
Right, so there's royal families, but there's like technology, so there's spaceships. Shit. Right. Okay.
Yeah, so you haven't seen anything else. You haven't read the books or anything, right?
I saw the 1984 movie.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen that one.
Extremely confusing.
John Onisman writing to me. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's the banks will try to screw you over no matter what. I'm not under no illusions about that, but it's a better investment. So it's just nice. I get to customize my house, and I can do whatever the fuck I want to it. It's mine. That's great. This is mine. It's nice to own a house. It's worth it. Spice must flow, yes. The spice and the salt must flow. Eric said, I like how this movie was a much closer representation of the book. I did not see the 1984 one, but I'm assuming that's a comparison to that. I did think the movie was actually pretty close. It was pretty close to the book. It wasn't like exactly like the book. Of course, they cut the way the book is written, you can't exactly adapt it for a movie. That's just not possible because the book is full of internal monologues, and then you have like the Princess Irulan parts. That was totally cut out. And to translate it into movie form, you just had to film it differently. And they trimmed some of the characters, but I thought it was done very well. It wasn't like the important characters weren't changed that much. Only like Keen's was changed, but it made sense. And like the major characters, it wasn't like I keep on thinking about what they did with A Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, and they cut shit. They cut shit like Lady Stoneheart, and yeah, maybe Fagon was something you could cut, but like Stoneheart is not something you could cut, and they like oversimplified it to like a most dumbed down level where the story just stopped making sense, and they didn't do that with Dune. It was just like they trimmed down some of the Harkonnens, but I know there's going to be a second part. I read that the first Dune book is going to be 2 movies, so the second part is going to focus more on the Harkonnens. That's what I heard.
That's what I was gonna ask. Like, how much of the books is actually contained within this first movie? Okay,
you're right. It's basically the first half of the first book.
They did that with the Stephen King's It. The first half took place in the 80s. Second half took place in present day.
Okay.
Yeah, like you're going to have to change things to adapt any book to a movie. It's not going to be like this is exact. I mean, most of the time, and especially the way the Dune books are written. But I thought this was like the way they did it was very good. And I was mentioning on stream yesterday how it felt like they made up for the lack of internal dialogue, because it's internal dialogue in movies. It's hard to do right, especially when it's like every character has internal dialogue in the books, and the books are very, I don't want to say cerebral. That sounds kind of like, ooh, is there smart people like it? But it's very psychological is the way I would say it. It's very much about what the characters are thinking and their like intuition about this person's like movements, and it's very like about political intrigue. But I felt like in the movies they made up for that by making like, first of all, they got good actors, but the situations everyone was put in, it was like you could kind of infer what everyone was thinking, and it wasn't, you could understand what the characters were thinking and feeling without all the stupid monologue, and it wasn't over explaining, and I liked that. I like movies that trust its viewers to not be idiots, and you don't have to know exactly every word that the characters are thinking. You don't have to know, like, you can, like, most viewers would be able to infer from the expressions and from the situation. Oh, okay, I can understand what this person who's like the royal bodyguard and they're the duke that they're pledged to is being attacked. What are they thinking right now in this situation? It's like people are smart. So I like that kind of storytelling, and I get why some people thought this movie was confusing. Some people said it was boring. It's not boring. You guys just need to pay attention more.
Well, again, remember, like you didn't watch the trailers, but remember, like one of the trailers like really sells this thing as an action movie, and the other one was like as a comedy. So it's like I keep saying that. Like, I haven't seen it, but like from the trailers, I was just like, oh shit. Well, I guess I no longer want to even try.
Yo, I haven't seen. Yeah, I haven't seen the trailers
so, like,
yet.
Maybe some of the people that are saying this maybe saw it as just like they're gonna have a Fast and the Furious time or something with big worms instead of cars.
Right. That's why I always say the people who are cutting trailers. You have to realize people who are cutting trailers isn't the same studio that makes film. You have like separate studios that are tasked by production companies to, not even a production company, it's like the people funding the movies will like hire out trailer companies, and the people cutting trailers aren't the actual filmmakers. It's like 99% of the time.
I get what you're saying, but at the same time, it is for a lot of people, it'll be like myself that haven't also read the books at all. It'll be something that will create the expectation of what the movie is, regardless of whether or not you're aware of how much the trailer is created by other people. It'll still be, that is my frame of reference of what this iteration is, and it looks like a dumb action movie or a comedy. So it's like,
I know.
You can't help it. You can't help it, but like create an expectation for it.
I understand, and I'm not saying that. Well, you shouldn't have that expectation. I'm criticizing the way that they make. I'm criticizing the trailer makers because they're doing the frame of mind for the people making trailers is let's rope in as many people as possible. Let's do what we think the public wants to see instead of just staying true to the film and staying true to the story. And I don't like that approach. I feel like they should just make a trailer that is actually honest to what the story is about, because then people will go in with different expectations. Like I think a lot of people did with Dune, and they're like, oh, this is going to be like an action movie. It's going to be like a Marvel film. It is not a Marvel film.
Yeah,
it has a very distinctive, this is a totally different director that would not fit in any Marvel film, very distinctive directing style. And it stands on its own 2 feet, and people didn't go in with all these weird expectations. It's just going to be constant action and quips everywhere.
Well,
then they if they didn't have that predisposition, I think people would there would be more people who like this film.
Well, that did happen on Twitter. I mean, some people were like, "Well, there's not enough jokes in the film," and then basically, well, they're upset because it's like this isn't like an MCU movie. MCU movies have melted some people's brains. So some people went in with that mindset, I guess.
I guess it really does show the oversaturation on what the
there was a joke
and like superhero stuff have really kind of made pop culture kind of be thought of as,
Minor spoiler. Right. There was a joke at the beginning of the film. Jason Momoa's character, he says, "You've been building more muscle." He says, "Really? No."
Yeah.
That doesn't feel out of place because most jokes in the MCU feel out of place. Like just jokes every 5 minutes. It's fucking annoying. That joke.
There were humorous points, but it was like it just flowed. Like it was like, yeah, these people have been friends forever, and they're kind of like riffing on each other once in a while. So it made sense. It's not like there was no humor, but it's not like a humorous fucking story.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they want every movie to be. Well, they want every movie to be like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and that's cool. That's a different directorial style, but this is something new. This is different. So I think people, if it's not, this filming style is not for everybody, I understand, but if you can, like, if you haven't seen it yet, go in understanding that it's not going to be a Marvel movie. It's going to be something different, and it's a style of storytelling where you have to pay attention, and kind of let the background details and the story sink in, because there's a lot of world building and the details and every single word a character say, because it's not very wordy, but every word counts. That's the kind of movie this is. And if you can go in understanding that's what you're going to get, then it'll be much more enjoyable. What are you saying, Nick?
And I think it also says something that the first comment that you made about it was comparing, I know that it's kind of like one of like your 2 or 3 talking points, always bringing up Game of Thrones, but it also says something to like bring it up, because like is that kind of like heavy storytelling, and like when people realize that it's like it is based on this book, and if you read the blurb of the book, it's like, okay, this is what this is about, sci-fi, politics, and giant space worms, where you get high off the poo. So I was like,
Thank you for boiling it down to that. You're not wrong, though, Nick.
No, I know. I mean, again, like I've heard reviews of it. A lot of it kind of goes in one ear, out the other. Because I mean, I was only able to actually ingest Game of Thrones and all of their names and places because of watching the series first, and it kind of helped me put a face to these things and remember them better. And I'm hoping, and like I said, on our last stream chat about this, when we were mentioning it, I'm hoping that the movie will do the same, especially since you guys are all talking about like, this is good. So like, I'll be able to maybe remember some characters' faces and make it easier for me to actually read the books. Because I wanted to be in this book club that was going to be reading Dune. And so I had the first book just sitting around in my library. I just haven't started it. So
I think this movie is a good opening for people who do want to try the book. I actually do think so. It's I heard that Villeneuve has been wanting to adapt this for a long time. So it's kind of like an elitist situation where it's they had to wait for technology and to wait for like the studios to be able to adapt something like this, and it's ambitious. But he clearly cares about the source material, which is always good, because we get so many adaptations now where people don't give a shit about the source material. They just care about, let's make something that's like a Marvel movie, or like what we think the public wants. Let's just change it to like appeal to a modern audience. But there was very little of that in this. It was they respected the source material. Let's see. Let's go through a few chats, and I think I'll just like summarize a few things before we get super into spoilers. Let's see. Boom Studios has a good graphic novel version of House Atreides, but I didn't know that. Interesting. Yeah. A comic would be a good adaptation as well. Though I don't see why you would need to make a comic adaptation. It's already a novel. Let's see.
I don't know. Like it. You know what though? Like at least on something like Dune, I think that the visuals could be really rewarding to see in a comic. I definitely would like to see that.
It would be cool if there was like any side stories, or they wanted to expand on some things that weren't covered in the book, and they did that in comic form. That would be really cool, actually.
Or I wouldn't like a lot of what Jodorowsky wanted to do, like it was on the movie, was put onto the Incal, and I loved reading the Incal, and the visuals are really cool. And it's like, a preference of mediums is also a valid point for these things. So there's someone that actually cares, because like, when you see like adaptations like the comics for Game of Thrones, when it clearly looks like just a cash cow, it's just being milked. Like there's no thought for the designs, and it's just that realistic style that is just like realistic,
super basic,
for adult audiences, and that's it. It's like there's nothing to it. Then like fuck that. But if someone's actually passionate about doing something cool with it, I'd love to see good visuals for Dune. I've seen concept art of people doing a bunch of stuff for it on their portfolios, and that'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, I'm not disagreeing. It just depends. It depends on the part of the story. I could see that if it's like a comic adaptation that is giving the visuals a new take, right? Because there's no getting around the fact that there's so much you can do with the visuals of Dune, because Dune is so far into the future, and the world is so weird. It's at this point in technology where it's like Star Wars is futuristic, quote unquote, and in space and everything, it's like every planet is kind of like a city, so it's like intergalactic politics, but every planet stands for like it's controlled by a house or a city. But like Dune is that, but like millions of years into the future, and it's completely it's completely ridiculous, and it's to the point where their technology would look like magic to someone who lives in our time. So there's so much you can do with the concept designs. And
another thing of what we were talking about, you're talking about how the kind of storytelling for the books is really hard to actually put it into a movie, because there's so much of an internal monologue that also can be more easily engaged with in a comic, while making it visually interesting for an audience to keep reading it.
Yeah.
So that could be another valid thing. It's like it doesn't need to be an adaptation of the movie of the book, but just be another interpretation from the book and an option to be able to digest this thing.
Okay. Yes, a comic adaptation is valid. We have concluded.
Speaking of,
no, it feels like you were defending that a comic adaptation would not be bad. I'm not saying it would be bad.
No, I just like my point, so I wanted to talk about it.
Okay. Let's see.
So you mentioned you're going to do a futuristic series at some point. You're going to do a Dune ripoff?
No, it's nothing like that. It's more futuristic than Dune.
Okay.
It's a pretty cool idea, actually.
But okay, Dune is millions of years in the future, so yours would be billions.
It's very far in the future.
All right.
It's not like intergalactic politics or anything. It's a really cool idea, but I don't want to talk too much about it. It's definitely something that I need collaborators on, so I'm still looking for the right people. But I have a sci-fi idea as well, but someday, eventually, I'll reveal what it is. Wacky Swacky says the only flaw of this movie is that they kind of gloss over Dr. Yu's background and the motivations for what he did. They kind of gloss over the background for, I understood his motivations though, because it was explained, and there was a lot more to it, of course, and there's a lot more to several characters, and like I said, Harkonnen was not not just Baron Harkonnen, but the whole House Harkonnen was not well fleshed out. Like, what was the nephew? He had there was some Harkonnen characters that were totally cut. A lot of things were simplified, but it wasn't to the detriment of the story. Like Yue, it still made sense why he did what he did. And I'm gonna just pull up the major characters, and I'm just gonna go through and talk about what I thought about everyone's performance in a minute. Johnny Cage was a sand coarse and irritating. It's yeah, you wouldn't.
Of course, it just gets everywhere.
It gets in my ass crack. Gets in my. All right. You wouldn't think so, because they had they really got across how the Fremen just were part of the desert. They were like, the way they attacked, they like rose up from the sands, and they were at one with the desert landscape. It was really cool. Like that was well done. Apparently to them it's not, or they're just used to the irritation. Like they're really like these tough desert people, and I thought that came across really well. Wacky Swaggy says Game of Thrones didn't just cut things; they also entirely altered some of the characters. You're right. Yeah, I have thoughts about the Game of Thrones adaptation. They really should have stopped after season 4. It's about right. I feel like they should have stopped at season 3, but I don't know. So many thoughts about that. It's such a disappointment. I'm a huge fan of the that series too. I read everything in that series, including Duncan Egg, including the Targaryen book. I'm blanking on the name, but I did read it.
Fire and Blood.
Fire and Blood. Yes, exactly. I was like the Reds and the Greens. No. That's not the actual title.
Well, it's because they ran out of source material. I don't think those directors are actually competent. Yeah.
I don't think so. They did well when they followed the source material, but not when they didn't have the books to follow on. What we got from the Fiendish movie? Absolutely fucking nothing.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Have Ragna portrayed by the black girl from this movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, I don't get Zendaya, but we'll save that for later.
I don't know. Can she actually fill out that outfit though?
She can. She's a stick. No, that's never gonna change. On my grave, I will have it carved. Like, you shalt not change my creations. Like, seriously.
No, if anything, I'm just surprised that Chimera made that comment, because he's the one that's always talking about how, or I say always, but last time he was talking about Irene should make the boobs and the butt bigger.
Well, he's saying it would. He was inferring that it would be a bad adaptation if they had Zendaya play Ragna. It would never fucking happen. Zendaya doesn't look like Ragna at all. Eric the Guap said included major plot points that Lynch's version could only have been just manipulated Fremen, were a religious myth over thousands of years. That they cut that in the Lynch version? Damn.
Yeah, I didn't see the Lynch version. I didn't catch any of that. You talked about
I was reading the super chat. It's on
fast. There's a time.
It's on the screen. It's on the screen.
Well, I'm still trying to read it. Like, you talk.
You can you read?
Shit.
I'm playing with Yu-Gi-Oh cards right now. So no.
Wow. Anyways, yeah, I didn't see the Lynch version, but that would it's pretty major. There's some things that I thought they didn't explain enough about the Bene Gesserits, and they didn't explain Mentats. Why didn't they explain Mentats? And they also didn't. They didn't explain the fact that Paul is being trained as Mentat. I had some issues with I like storytelling where things aren't just like spoon fed to me. Got it. But some things I thought they could have made more clear, which didn't. It's not that it confused me, because I know what's going on because I read the books, but especially towards the end with Paul, the way they handled Paul's visions, I thought I could definitely see how that would be confusing to somebody who hadn't read the books and didn't understand that he had certain types of training, and Bene Gesserit training had the whole ancestral memories, but that was part of it. But also Mentat training is concerns being able to calculate just through probability what the future might entail, and that's why he was having all these visions about he could see what everything that was going on right now would lead to, and it was going to lead to this giant galactic scale war, and he would lose control of it. Spoilers, I guess we'll get into spoilers right now. So
You read the book?
Yes.
The Dune books?
Yes.
Oh.
I said that at the beginning.
I mean, we can't
Why?
fucking say or ask anything before you start getting an attitude over any fucking thing.
I'm not getting an attitude.
You're right. You are.
It would be.
Right. I forget.
She is the attitude.
I'm not getting an attitude. I would just like to be paid attention to when I say things.
I'm playing with your cards. I can't help it.
Okay, all right.
Let's
I'm
go
not playing
on.
with your cards. I'm working, but like.
Chat, help
Just
me.
trying to have a conversation. It'd be great to not be berated every time we speak up about anything.
Yeah.
I'm not berating you. Chill. I'm speaking my mind.
Yes, very loudly.
I'm always loud. You shouldn't have known this before you came on the stream. Save me. I'm just saying I said I read the books, and I said at the beginning of the stream. It's okay, it's fine.
Jesus.
Comics that Pops and Van Zant said read the book first and go see it. I don't
really?
think you
I'm a little
need
afraid of
to. Yeah, I don't think you have to.
Because like I
don't think
again,
you
like I have a hard time like memorizing like people's names. So when I read a book, and especially when you talk about like, it having so much like space politics, like I'm not gonna remember any people's fucking names because they're just like a word in my head. Like I'm gonna lose track. I'm a little afraid of that.
Yeah, no, I don't. Everybody's different. I don't think it's necessary because this was the major characters in this are pretty well portrayed, and I think it would help for you to have like that face attached to it. John says, so for those short attention spans, you're recommending multiple intermissions. Why? No. Oh no. No. I don't think it's a matter of short attention spans. Yeah, I think because the movie gives you a lot of breathing room. It's just like when the characters are speaking, remember what they say, because sometimes like some details you'll miss what's going on later if you don't pay attention to what they say. But there's like a lot of breathing room to the movie.
I'm just gonna assume that the people that are saying that it's like too boring or that it's not, or like how Chimera said like it doesn't have enough jokes, is that maybe they just came in with the very different expectations and maybe they were not in the mindset of sitting down for a more a movie that demanded more attention from you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like I'll bitch and be like they just don't understand it. But I think it's just either not for them or they were expecting something so different that it shocked them that this wasn't what they thought it would be.
Well,
Unhinged is doing this good.
Didn't you say that trailers showed it in a way that was different than the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I told you. I mean, I had only seen the trailers and like one. I've seen two.
Suicide Squad.
Eric, yeah, I hope so too. I'm looking forward to the second movie. All right, let's. I'm way behind in the chat again. I'm going to do this. Let's see. What to do? I'm just gonna. I'm going to talk about. Yes, that's what I'm going to do now. I'm trying to pull up the window, and probably spoilers from now on. So, if you don't mind spoilers, or I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm just. Spoilers from now on. I'm just going to say, talk about what happens actually in the movie. And I think I'll just go through and kind of go over each character and talk about how I thought they were portrayed, I suppose. Which you guys saw the movie, so it wasn't just me yapping, because it's not like it's only what I think matters. But let's see. Enough. Eric says, Nick, the characters stand out enough in the movie where you won't need to have read the book prior. So Eric disagrees with that. There you go. Yeah, I think so.
Well, I'm hoping so, man. That'll be really bad of a movie if they don't stand out with their performances. I'm afraid of them not standing out of book form enough. For me, at least. So I'm a little afraid of my attention span on something like that.
I don't.
Again, with Game of Thrones, like, I was, after watching the series and getting, cut up on the hype, I was able to read through things and catch up on like who everybody was. So, hoping to lean on that.
Ryan Johnson says, I think the movie will inspire people that haven't read the book to read it and people that have read it to reread it. Nice. Yeah. It makes me want to finish the series because I didn't finish reading the whole series.
That's really nice to hear. Again, think of a series that so many people thought that there was just never going to be an adaptation for it ever again. Hearing that this thing actually came out well enough that science fiction people might actually reconsider and go back to it or draw new readers for it. That's cool.
Yeah. Irene expects us to know how to read. I mean, it's okay if you don't. I don't judge here. Openly, at least.
Yeah, I was gonna say you will judge very much. You just won't say that.
Me never.
I'll probably check out the books. I still have to finish John Carter.
Just listen to the audiobooks if you don't have time. I listen to audiobooks mostly. Let's see, mentats. Yeah, they don't super explain mentats. Wacky Swacky says mentats are basically only inferred in Dune 2021, never explained. I don't remember when mentats were explained in the books, but it seems pretty freaking important to the world. And at least even just like with one line explaining what happened with like thinking machines and what mentats are would have been nice. I think it would have helped everyone understand what was going on with Paul more. I guess let's get into it. I didn't think I would like Paul, actually. I didn't think I would like Paul, and I don't know if it's because when I read the books, my internal vision of him was different, or also just because even though I didn't see the Lynch movie, I've seen I know what everything looks. I know what the characters look like. I kind of had a pre-image of Paul that was the way he used to look, and Jessica also looked different. I still like the way just the physical presentation of Jessica more in the older movie, in the Lynch movie, but now I can say I really liked this version of Paul. I think it actually fit really well. And when I was going into it, I thought he looked so young, and it was like this scrawny little kid. And I just think it didn't work. I thought he looked kind of sullen and emo. And I was like, how is this? And he seems like really expressionless as well. So I didn't see how they would make him work as Paul. But after seeing the movie, it works. It works. And I've heard some people say that they thought he was too, I don't know, he was not expressive enough. But I didn't think it was due to bad acting. I thought he is supposed to be young. He's a teenager. And I actually like that he looked like a teenager, because in the Lynch movie, he looked like he could be 20 something. But the fact that he looks so young and scrawny in this movie, that made him in a way more sympathetic, but also it kind of it was like, oh, everyone saw him as young, and a lot of people didn't believe that he was a Kisa Chadarak, and that made more sense, just more believable. He's not like this heroic looking figure, right? He looks like just this young kid that a lot of people automatically underestimate. And I think that works more, and it creates more of I want to watch his upward struggle from this point. So that was a surprise, and I didn't know who the fuck the actor was either. Wacky Swag says Timothy Chalamet is basically everything nowadays. I don't think I've seen him in anything else. So I was pleasantly surprised.
But I really don't know anybody. So.
Yeah. I haven't seen him in anything else, but I also don't pay that much attention to Hollywood. Let's see. Vogue Fashion Magazine. I like this presentation of all the characters together. I'm sorry if it reminds you of something annoying. Alex Kogan says, Timothy I thought was a decent Paul. Ferguson whispered her lines way too much for my liking. Yeah. I also was iffy about Lady Jessica's casting. In my head, my headcanon, I always wanted Jessica Chastain. I was like, I hope they I thought if they cast her, it would be absolutely perfect, because she has more of a presence, and I felt like she looked more the part as well, and they didn't like. She naturally already looks kind of like Lady Jessica. I thought Ferguson would look, she looks kind of young. Like she could still believably be Paul's mother because she has kind of one of those faces that she could look 20 or 40, but it's kind of like ambiguous. So it works, but I have more critiques for her character because there were some parts that I really, really liked and some parts that I thought were inconsistent with the character. For example, I'll say what I like first. During the scene when
a character of one of these little posters, or is somebody else?
Yes, Lady Jessica. It's in the bottom row. This someone mentioned in the chat, and so I thought I'll jump to her. I don't know why they put her in the bottom row because she's really important. Yeah. So Lady Jessica is Paul's mother, and I liked when one of my favorite scenes in the movie was when her and Paul were being held captive and they were about to be dropped out of the copter into the desert. And like they changed her approach to that situation to be much more aggressive than the books. As I recall in the books, she was more like being seductive and like she was still using voice and she was still controlling, taking over the situation. But here she was more aggressive. She, like as soon as she could speak, she just like kill him, give me the knife. And I like that. Like I think either way could work. She could be more seductive about it. She could have this more aggressive approach, but I like that. I thought that was like fucking badass. And I love the way they did voice because I didn't know how they were going to make that convey that this was essentially a Bene Gesserit superpower where you could like mind control people for a short period of time. But the way they did like the audio design and everything, it worked. And it was like, it made sense without them having to explain it to you like you were 2 years old. But
how did they convey
it? At the beginning of the movie, they had a scene where it wasn't like hand-holdy, like this is what voice is, but they established it at the beginning, there was just having Paul and Jessica sitting down for breakfast. And, Jessica has been training her son in some Bene Gesserit skills, and you kind of infer that, that people are talking about the Bene Gesserit all through the movie, and people know that Jessica is Bene Gesserit. So over breakfast, Jessica pours a glass of water, and Paul, it's for Paul, but instead of giving it to Paul, she tells him to use voice and force her to give the water to him. So it's a small thing, right? He tries it at first, and he's like, give me the water, and he uses voice, but and the way they make the sound design, it doesn't sound like they filter people's voices when they use voice. So it's not like I'm talking right now. It's like this echoey, thundery filter over their vocals. And he doesn't succeed at first. And she's like, no, you didn't do it right. You have to try again. So he focuses, takes a few seconds, and then he says it again. And this like, they have like this, the camera like pans in on her, and it's sort of like this blurry effect. And you can tell that she was essentially like, she closes her eyes and she like gives her the glass. She gives him the glass and kind of like almost instinctively without thinking with her eyes closed. And you can just infer from that situation that this is a mind control superpower. Yeah, it was pretty clear. So they didn't have to hold your hand and explain things to you. I thought that was well done. But just the visual effects and the sound design of the way they did voice. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but I thought the way they did it was really good.
All right.
Like you said, that scene is exactly like the one from the Lynch movie. Huh? Yeah. Again, I didn't see it. I should go back and watch it now, I feel. Yeah. So with Jessica. She's better than I expected. I think overall she was good, but it's weird because some people were saying she's not intimidating enough. Some people were saying that she came across as more intimidated than in the books, and this struck me as weird because I've heard people say that, well, in the book she was kind of like a second-class consort and she was seen as not that important. Like, yeah, there were people that were plotting against her that were suspicious of her because she was not a royal lineage and because she's Bene Gesserit. So people were like, oh, she's a spy, and they were questioning her alliance to House Atreides. But they cut that out from the movie, which I thought was good, because that's kind of, they kind of just cut out a lot of the fat and focused on the main story, and I thought that was great. But yeah, I think her place in the family and in the it was in the story was pretty clear. She was always pretty freaking important. She was always pretty freaking powerful. So I don't really get the people who are saying that in the book she kind of came across as second class. She's freaking Bene Gesserit, and they're very respected and very feared. So overall, like, I thought it was a good portrayal, but sometimes her character would not be consistent. Like during when Paul was with the Reverend Mother, I didn't get why they had like Jessica standing outside just having a mental breakdown, basically. And I'm like, I get it, it's your son, but she's supposed to be this very, very well trained, like basically almost superhuman person who has complete control over herself. And even though it's her son, yeah, you can show her being worried, but she was just like hyperventilating and stuff. And I didn't really like that. I thought in all these other situations where her and her son were in danger, she was pretty in control. I thought, I don't know, kind of like made her character seem inconsistent in that situation. But overall, I thought, her performance was pretty good. I know. Big Fatty, hello. Let's see. Who should we talk about next? I wish you guys saw the movie.
Yeah, when you say we should talk about which characters. Yeah, we.
Sigh. I know, it's just me, and you guys are just here listening to me, bitch, and getting yelled at.
I'm halfway through it.
Oh,
yeah.
you've actually gone through more of that. Okay. Oh, you sound like you just have like seen the beginning, Tamara.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you were literally watching it, in the middle of watching it. We're having a lot of miscommunications this stream.
Is that scene that you're talking about, Irene? The one where this lady has like a mental breakdown over her son being in danger. How far into the movie is that?
That's like the first 30 minutes. He puts his hand in a box, and some old lady aims a poison dart at his neck.
Yeah, I can't. The name is escaping me right now, but it's a rite of passage for the Bene Gesserit, and
she was mad that Jessica gave birth to a boy instead of a girl.
Oh yeah, that's from the books as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because yes.
Kamara, how did you feel about that scene? Did you also interpret it as kind of feeling out of place for the way that the character had been portrayed?
Which character, Jessica?
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean,
but you hadn't finished the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like my thing is just that I feel like I have to take that comment from Irene with a bit of a grain of salt, talking about characters allowing themselves to be emotional. So
what is that supposed to mean?
Because you criticize a lot of characters for like showing emotions like outright for being weak, but I know that you've also talked about like in some emotional scenes. So it's like I don't know how much how much of a grain of salt pull on you saying that she actually felt inconsistent with that. So I'm just wondering, because I don't even know the character, so I just thought I'd ask Chimera as well.
From my perspective, it was a woman being overly emotional, so it seemed pretty in place.
Yeah, see, that's exactly Chimera's answer. That's what I expected him to say. So why are you asking him?
I guess never mind.
I was trying to. I'm actually being fair and not, being objective about this. But what I meant was, it's not that I don't like it when characters show emotion. I really do think it was inconsistent with the fact that she's like highly trained, very mentally controlled, almost superhuman, and I don't,
I'm not saying
because
that you're
in the
wrong on the subject. It's just I feel like you do have a tendency to assume that anybody that is shown to be strong is out of place when they start getting emotional. So I was wondering on how much on that.
No, I think we
is
talked about this
horrific.
last night. She doesn't like it when the character is emotional for no reason.
Yeah, I don't mind people showing emotions. I know you think I'm an unemotional bitch, but that's not the case.
Hey Aldous, he's in the chat.
Oh, hi Aldous.
I believe he's read Dune. I don't know if he saw the new movie.
Yeah, let us know what you think. We're just going through the characters and talking about how. I mean, I'm the only one who has finished the movie, but yeah, let us know how you feel about the movie. I thought it's more. Yeah, I just thought I think there's not much more to say about Jessica. It's just that one scene. I felt like she was being it was too exaggerated. She was like basically hyperventilating, and
Okay.
it was.
And you told me she's a redhead in the books.
She's a redhead in the books.
Okay, for some reason Hollywood doesn't like redheads, so they replaced her with a brunette, I guess.
She kind of has like red brown hair, but she's not like a redhead. In the books, she's described as having chestnut hair. There's also why I wanted Jessica Chastain, because I was like, she just naturally looks like the part already. And I kind of always imagine her with like more, I don't know, she's being more expressive. I feel like Ferguson is not that expressive, but she wasn't bad. She's obviously a good actress. She kind of doesn't look the part, though, is what I would say.
Okay, so Aldous has seen both movies.
So yeah, I think that's most of what I have to say about Jessica.
Okay.
Let's talk about Leto Atreides. I thought Leto was very good. I actually totally forgot that was fucking Poe Dameron. He's a good actor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of blocked out the sequel trilogy on my mind, so yeah. I was remembering him from Deus Ex, where he was a programmer. Did you ever see that movie?
No.
Let me see. I'm probably getting the name wrong. I think
Yeah.
it's Ex Machina.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one, but I thought Leto was he was very well cast. Dude, Oscar can fucking act.
Aldous says, oh, sorry. Aldous says the Sci-Fi Channel's 2000 miniseries is the most accurate and faithful to the book.
Oh, I have to see that. People keep on bringing it up. Let's see. Yeah, so Leto was great. I don't super have any critique for that. I will say that this is a very nitpicking thing I have for films and TV shows, where if people who are supposed to be related don't look like they're related at all, it gets to me. I know it's very stupid. I know it's dumb because like they're just casting actors, but I'm like, I extra appreciate it when family resemblance actually makes sense, even though it's like they're casting people that aren't actually related.
Because if you don't have that, then like it takes you out. Like there's no way that thing came out of that thing.
Yes, exactly. And that was another problem I had with Game of Thrones. Even like season 1 was great. It was like the people who are supposed to be related don't look related. It bothered me so much. And like Timothy Chalamet is his name. He looks like he could be related to Oscar Isaac. They look like they could be father and son, especially with like the makeup and like the gray hair on Oscar Isaac. So I like so appreciated that. That was well done. Yeah, let's see. And the Dukes, I thought the death scene was that was well done too, because the way it was written in the books was like you kind of followed him to his last thoughts, but I don't know. I like the filmography around that as well. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing really critical to say about that. Yeah, damn, Oscar Isaac is really good. It was kind of cool how he was a pilot and he was also Poe Dameron. I was like, oh, I didn't realize, it didn't register in my brain that this is the guy that played Poe Dameron until he was piloting a craft.
I've only seen the Force Awakens a few times, and then I only saw Last Jedi once, so I didn't really recognize him.
Yeah, I've seen all three of the movies, but I only saw them once. He stands out. He's obviously like he
Well,
has
yeah, he's a
force of
better
personality.
actor.
He's a good actor. He's one of the people that really stood out in those movies. So I remembered him. Yeah, I liked him. He's one of my favorite actors and characters in those movies. Even though I don't really care for the movies. And Eric DeBob says I like Duncan Idaho's actor too. Yeah, so also like nothing critical to say about Jason Momoa. He's perfect in everything he's in. Okay, maybe that's an exaggeration, but he was a good Duncan Idaho. No, that was good casting.
The
He
name
was
of the
really
character is Duncan Idaho.
yes.
I like his Aquaman. He's good as Aquaman.
Yeah. He's pretty good and everything. Like I feel like he doesn't super have a big range, but it's like, but what else are you gonna cast him in? He's like 7 feet tall and like 250 pounds of muscle. So it's fine if he doesn't super have range. But like
Oh,
I think
now we figure out why she likes him. Okay.
it's not a surprise. I've never hidden that. But he also he fits like he isn't it's also not just like he looks like the character. I don't think the way he looked was like ever really discussed. So obviously this Duncan Idaho looks really different than the David Lynch movie, but like I think the way he played Duncan Idaho, it fits. It's like he's he grew up with Paul, knows him really well, and it's like they're really chummy. Kind of like he's got that. I think Momoa just has that kind of mirthful side, and he let that come through. So it was a good Idaho, and that really fit. Time Dying said, I think I'm also biased. I really like Jason Momoa. Are you surprised?
I've only seen him in Game of Thrones and Aquaman. I haven't really seen him in other movies.
He's been in other stuff.
Yeah. He was on. Was it like Baywatch or something? Some like TV show surfer shit. Yeah. That's where he started out. So he's been in other stuff, but I've also only seen him in Game of Thrones and in Aquaman. He was in something else. I watched him in something else as well. But I like him. I like him. Yeah, I mean they don't cast him in a like hugely wide range of characters, but he's been good in everything I've seen him in. He was in Stargate Atlantis. There you go. Yeah. So I thought that was good. He was great. Gurney was good too. Not really. Stilgar only featured a little bit, but for the acting that I did see from him was good. I think okay. What I really have thoughts on are Chani. So let's just talk about Chani. Chani.
Best actress.
I don't. People are gonna say I'm being mean, but I'm not.
Well, I think Eric said it
girl.
earlier.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Well, I think
Right.
Eric said it earlier in the chat. She's the weakest part.
Did he? I missed the comment.
It was much earlier.
Let's see. I always viewed Chani as Middle Eastern in the books. The actress that played her was meh. In my opinion, worst casting out of the whole movie. Yeah. So it doesn't ruin the movie, but I'm sorry, but I have to agree. And I don't think Zendaya is a bad actress. I'm a little baffled though as to why they keep on casting her as sort of like the headliner, like stunning female love interest lead. I'm gonna be honest, I don't think she has that kind of charisma. Her acting is fine, but it's not super mind-blowing. I don't feel like she looks, it's like, she looks Middle Eastern enough. Yeah, the Fremen in the books are always hinted as kind of allegorical for Middle Eastern nomads, and so that's all that fits. But like she just doesn't have the force of character to play Chani. And I kind of had the same problem with her as being cast as MJ in Spider-Man. Like she just bluntly speaking, she just looks like she's always bored and she's always falling asleep. Like when she gets done up, she's real cute. And like there are certain roles that I think she would really fit. But the ones that she's been cast in, and I've only seen her in Spider-Man and in this, and I'm like, why did they cast her? She's not interesting to me. She doesn't fit like this super charismatic, like very, not just like, as in like, oh, she has to be like conventionally beautiful. She's cute, but I just don't feel like she has the force of character to play such an important role. And I didn't like the casting at all.
Also, Mary Jane is a redhead.
That too. That's a whole other thing. Hollywood just doesn't like redheads anymore. So, yeah. That's just, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Hollywood. But Ryan Johnson said, yeah, she's not MJ. Eric Hudful, so why did she have resting bitch face all through Spider-Man? Yeah. She kind of is really flat face. It's just like same expression all the time. So yeah, there are certain characters she can play, but she's just not very expressive. I don't get it. Henry says she's forgettable. Yeah, kind of, and especially in Villenueve's movie where they start like hinting at Chani. Well, first of all, Chani didn't show up this early in the books, so they moved her presence up, which is doubly confusing because you want to cast someone that's like really engaging if you're going to move Chani up and like have her meet Paul earlier, and he starts seeing her in these visions way before he even meets her, and they show that in the movie, and the movie opens with her narration, by the way. So I'm like, they're making Chani more prominent and more important in the movies. So you want to cast someone that's like super, oh my gosh, she's like unforgettable. I just don't think she's that. I just don't think she's it. Sorry, people who like Zendaya. I'm sure she would be good in certain roles, but I don't think this fit her at all. Paul Talada says she's what producers think young women are like. Yeah.
Probably. You're like, oh, okay, this is a demographic. Okay. All right.
Wait, what does that mean? They think young women are like what?
I don't know. Like bored but assertive, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. She looks constantly bored. I don't know. Redheads don't exist. Yeah, Hollywood. Hollywood is currently committing gendercide.
Only in It. That's the only recent film I saw a few years ago. It Chapter 2, Jessica Chastain.
I wish they cast Jessica Chastain.
Yeah, she's fucking hot.
She would be so perfect as Jessica. But yeah, this Jessica was fine. If they cast someone new for Chani, it would have been perfect. Yeah, that was my main problem with the casting was her. I just don't get it, and it like kind of bothers me. And it's like Lady Jessica didn't bother me, and the other things about the characters didn't bother me. I didn't like how the Baron looked either. I liked the Baron. The actor was fine, but the Baron is supposed to be like huge and grotesque. So you've seen the Jodorowsky concept art of him, and he's like this giant, like Jabba the Hutt looking thing. And I'm like, why didn't they go with that? I thought that's such an awesome concept. And here he looks like Joe Schmo at Walmart, basically.
Maybe afraid of cartoonizing the characters too much.
Highlight Alex's latest comments.
Where?
The one that says couch.
Oh, come on. Oh, come on. We're not going to make those accusations. Though Hollywood is a lot about that. Seriously. Having been not in Hollywood, but just like in animation, which is kind of showbiz adjacent. Working in animation is like Hollywood, but with, less charismatic people, to be honest. It's like people are gross. That's all I'm going to say. We're not going to make those accusations here. All I'm saying is I don't think she's charismatic enough for the role. It kind of bothers me. We could barely tell, honest. Yeah, I know. I'm so good at hiding my thoughts on things, right? I'm totally not that opinionated at all. Oh, jeez. Same.
Oh, right.
Wacky
You're talking a lot about how she doesn't have the force of character to actually match up to the role. What is the role of this character in the story? Who is this Choni?
Chani is Paul's, basically the Fremen woman that he falls in love with after. So his house is destroyed. He's born like the son of a duke. He's supposed to be heir to the dukedom, but then there's the Harkonnens are their rivals, and they were in this like kind of transitionary phase. Their house Atreides was moved to the planet Arrakis, which is also called Dune, that House Harkonnen used to have control over. So the Emperor moved Harkonnen away from Dune and instructed Atreides to take over the planet, which is very important because Arrakis is the only source of what they call spice. Yeah, and it's this very, very important chemical or drug essentially that can just has like a insanely wide range.
I know about spice. Yeah.
Okay, so you know about spice. So but the whole transition from like, oh yeah, House Atreides will now be in charge of Arrakis was a setup, and when they arrived on Arrakis, they were all the equipment was damaged and like they were set up for failure, and the Emperor kind of was like scheming with House Harkonnen to like put House Atreides in like a new environment where they were more vulnerable, and so they could be attacked and taken down. So in this movie, that all that happens, the transition happens, and they slowly realize that they're being set up to be in a weak position and to be in this like desert planet with like no equipment and no allies. And then one day they're attacked by the Harkonnens, and Duke Leto, which is the patriarch, he gets killed, and Paul and his mother end up in the desert. Like they manage to escape, but they end up in the desert, and they essentially integrate themselves into this desert nomad society, which is called the Fremen. And they're these like people who live just like in the deserts, and the Empire kind of sees them as, you know, useless barbarians, but they have a lot of like hidden powers and stuff. And the story is essentially about Paul harnessing the Fremen and their fighting ability and what the desert, you know, like the power of the desert and all that stuff, and getting revenge for his father. But that leads to a whole galactic war that he can't control, and billions of people die. So that's the basic plot.
He who controls the spice controls you.
So she's
there
just a love interest. That's her role. Because like you're talking her out like force of character, and it's like, but then you tell me a summary of all this other plot points, but like you just say that she's there and he likes her. Like okay,
I feel like
you don't really need a lot of strength of character for that.
I feel like I had to explain the plot of the entire story to point out like, oh, who's the Fremen? Well, if I say that she's his Fremen wife, well, who are the Fremen? We'll have to explain to you who the Fremen are. He's essentially she's his Fremen wife, and I think in the book she wasn't that important. But what I mean is in the movies they're framing her as very important, because if I summarize this story to you, it doesn't sound like she's that important. In the books, yeah, it's just she's his companion, and she's kind of his opening into Fremen culture, and you know, it helps him be accepted and teaches him about their culture and all that stuff, right? So in that way, in like their bond is important in the books, but like in the movie they're portraying her as very important. Like it's almost, you know, they open with a flashback of her, and he keeps on seeing visions of her like walking through the desert in this flowing long like dress and stuff, and I'm like, so they're making her out as, you know, it's just like his destiny, and she kind of, I feel like in the movie she's symbolized as as like, oh, this is, you know, his destiny with the Fremen, and like when he sees visions of her, that's like he's seeing, you know, his destiny, that he's going to become the Fremen leader. And I just don't think she's interesting enough, because then you meet her at the end of the movie, and she's just like, yeah, I wouldn't have let you hurt my friends. It's like, okay,
Well,
you build
aside
all these visions up to this like woman that he's destined to meet, and then we actually see her. She's just like really boring. God,
well, I mean, 'cause the thing
sorry,
is just
but
like it's just that I keep hearing you guys because again you were talking about her like this Zendaya girl a lot also last time, but like I don't know, like at least from what you guys are talking about here, it just sounds like it's a character that is kind of there in the books, and in here they kind of like trying to expand the role, but it's the role itself doesn't seem to really have much to it aside from what it promises. But does the character actually like seem aside from promises from the setup? Does a character say or do anything that is worth really caring about besides just hooking up with this kid?
I think not so far in this movie because we just like barely actually meet her at the end of the movie. What I'll
Okay.
say what I'm saying is, when we do meet her, she's kind of built up to be like his destiny, and you expect a lot. And I was just like, she's just like a bored girl, and she looks like she's 12. It was kind of disappointing, and she always looked like the bored 12-year-old. But she like I think the way the film set up her role was not bad because she does affect like she is this transitionary character that kind of harkens him into Fremen culture. For example,
No, yeah,
towards the end of the movie.
She's useful. I get that.
Yes, yeah, and I can go and explain more about what happens in the movie, but yeah, she has a role, and they make her role, what she's supposed to be to him, very clear. And just like she's not super compelling, and I met her, I'm just like, oh my god, she's just a normal chick. So
and again, I did see like some of the Spider-Man movies and didn't really get much from her. Don't really have anything positive or negative to say about that. But at the same time, like it just sounds like this. The character itself just sounds like stand there and look pretty. So I'm like, I don't know. Like Irene describes her as just a character, as an actress that was just gonna burn out to be there and look pretty. So,
but even stand there and look pretty. Does it though?
I don't know. It sounds it doesn't sound like the character is very interesting. It's just like it serves a plot. She's a plot device to be able to like get the characters moving and connected to this. But like you still says like she doesn't do anything interesting or say anything interesting. She's just kind of there to be a tool. And then this girl like is just there being a tool. So I'm like,
yeah, I think the fact that you said in Spider-Man she was just there, and it was like neither. It was kind of a lukewarm reaction. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't good. Well, that's my reaction to everything I've seen her in as well, and I think that's not good enough because I think
for me it's just that that's also my reaction to MJ the character in general. So
okay.
Just there. I guess she has red hair, and she says, "You go get him, Tiger." Okay.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the character of MJ, if we're going to talk about her portrayal of that, which, they said, oh, she's not really Mary Jane, what the fuck ever. Her initials are MJ. She's supposed to be bombastic and beautiful and a supermodel, but you're supposed to get the impression that she's spunky and fun and beyond just looking good. And she's not like, she doesn't have superpowers. She doesn't do anything that's really that compelling or plot relevant. She's kind of just the love interest, but she's supposed to be a very charismatic, memorable character. And that's more than just standing there looking pretty. I think someone with like forced personality and charisma that adds to like, because when you're casting someone in a role like that, it's not just, well, you look pretty. Then you can pick any chick off the street and stick them in a movie. And I feel like that's my impression of what, she is. It's like, she looks good. And she's you just stuck her in the movie, but she's never
if the role is not much, that maybe she could be adding something more to the role.
You're right. That's what I feel. Right. I feel like it could have, I wanted to see someone that could add something more to her role and really make her compelling, because the setup was that, wow, you're going to be really blown away when you meet this chick.
Okay, all right. No, yeah, it's just because I kind of felt similarly, again, just in general, like for the Spider-Man movies, not even just like the Marvel ones that came out recently. There's always this promise of MJ, and it's like it's this linch point of like this is kind of like the thing that kind of connects you to like, oh, he is a simple boy and he gets boners just like every other simple boy. But MJ is just kind of, I feel like she's just kind of there as a promise of something that is identifiable. Like she's supposed to be there, so she's there. But and there's a pretty girl, and I remember that she's there, and I remember her look, but it's always just kind of there to true believers. There sure is an MJ here, like we promised. But I don't see a point to her most of the time, aside from just stating that Spider-Man is straight.
It's not like, well, she's super plot relevant. She's there to make the reading more fun. I feel like that's MJ's, purpose in the general Spider-Man mythos. She's emotionally grounds him. It's like, oh, there's a family that he cares about. Yeah, and people like looking at, hot chicks who are fun and charismatic, so that helps.
Yeah, but like everybody is hot in comics. Okay. No,
she
yeah,
has a specific
I was just
punk to her.
I was
though.
wondering.
But yeah.
And I get that because like especially because her selling point was the fact that when you go from super chaste Christian girl Gwen Stacy who darn sorry man, your girlfriend's broken, you need a new one. This one wears black and you can kind of see a little bit of side boob as she says go Tigers. Like I get that there's from that transition there's clearly a selling point, but nowadays like she just dresses like any other female character, and there's like it's just the memory of what she was supposed to stand for. But she's never relevant. She never really does anything besides just repeat her same stuff. And there's that whole conversation about why the characters are not allowed to even evolve into adulthood and all that. So I was just I was wondering when you said that like that this Zendaya girl is like she doesn't have the force of personality. It's like, oh okay, well what was she supposed to do was so important? Like, okay, it's just making at least a character that is like paper thin, but at least so that you'll remember it and you feel rewarded after waiting the whole movie to see this kid.
Yeah. I'm not about to defend like, Marvel and Spider. I was like, whatever. But it's in this setup. It's I think it should have. I wanted to see more. So, is she charismatic though? Paul Talata, Zendaya or MJ? I don't find Zendaya charismatic. That's the problem. But I think we shit on her enough. Feel kind of bad, but I'm just being honest. Someone was. Characters? I think I've covered everyone here so far. There's someone that's not on here that they did the biggest change I noticed from the books. By the way, chat, we're kind of in spoiler territory now. So if you don't, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to. From this point on, I'm going to try to not spoil things beyond what happens in the movie. But yeah, we're in spoiler territory for the movie. Okay. I think we kind of covered everyone. I thought Gurney was fine. Stilgar was fine. We barely saw Stilgar, so it's fine. Keynes was changed from the books, and that was the biggest change that I noticed that I didn't expect. But I thought it was fine.
This is the character that you said that is not here?
Yeah, this is a character that's not here.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's so Leet Keynes is a character in the books that's like the geologist of Dune, and in the books it's a man, and he's overseeing the transition between House Atreides and House Harkonnen, and he's sort of like this character, this guy that has been on Arrakis this whole time, and like he witnesses, he can tell that House Atreides is being set up, but his loyalty is supposed to be to Emperor, so he's like, I can't say anything. But in the end, he switches allegiance when he realizes that, when he is convinced, not he realized, when he becomes convinced that Paul is this prophesized Messiah, and he switches to be on House Atreides' side. And so they in the movie they change it to be a woman, but this is an instance where I thought that was well done. Like it didn't take me out of the character at all because it fits. It's a geologist. It's not like they changed Duncan Idaho to be a woman. It's
and this is a character that is a little bit more sporadically shown.
Not sporadically. No, she comes in probably after the House Atreides arrives at Arrakis, because the movie starts when House Atreides is still on their home planet, on Caladan. But as soon as they arrive on Dune, this character comes in, and the Duke is kind of going around inspecting the equipment that they've been left, and it's like, why is everything in shambles? And he's like, tell me who's been overseeing this. And then we're introduced to this character, this geologist, Lee Keynes, and then she's kind of follows them around from that point on, right? And when House Atreides is attacked, she's there with them, and she kind of is like, I can't do anything, my allegiance to Emperor, I will be just a silent observer. But at the end, she ends up with Lady Jessica and Paul when they're trapped in the desert, and she decides to actively help them in the end because she sees Paul's potential, essentially. So yeah, this was an example. This was a case where I thought them changing a character's like gender was not a problem. It actually fit really well because there aren't that many female characters. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't buy the whole narrative of saying, well, Dune was like there weren't powerful women or whatever. You have the Bene Gesserit. They just didn't. They were, you don't like the main characters. You only pretty much had Lady Jessica and Chani, but there weren't that many females. I thought it was cool that they changed Lee Keynes to a woman. No, small thing, but it worked.
It also seems like all the other characters are more connected to certain families. So changing their sex or age would be a lot more difficult and would actually have to compromise other plot points. But this character seems isolated enough from that whole thing that doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it's the only thing is Lee Keynes is, it turns out that they are Fremen. And Aldous brings up a point where Lee Keynes is supposed to be related to someone, and that has larger ramifications. I read that they're going to keep that relation, but it's not going to be like a parent relation. But it's still going to be a family relation. At least that's what I read. So if they do that, then I think it'll still work. Lee Keynes' death was also altered and carried less media impact compared to the source material. I guess so. It was more, yeah. In the books, he kind of just like died in the desert and like just died of dehydration.
Be right back, guys.
Okay. Yeah, I think it depends. I thought if you see Lee Keynes' death in the movie, it was more active. She died taking out like several other attackers and with the summoning the worm and everything. I thought that was cool, but with how it was framed in the books, it was just different. I didn't dislike it though. I thought it was fine. Yeah. Thufir seems alright. Yeah, Thufir is fine. Yeah, I think it would factor in, but they didn't do it too much, so I'm fine with this. In this instance, I'm fine with it. Yeah. Mark Singer said it's a spicy way to die. Yes, it is. I think that's most of the characters. I think what I would talk about from this point on is the actual storytelling. I wasn't happy with how it wrapped up. And I had the same kind of issue with the ending of Alita. Even when a movie is part of a series, I like it when the film can stand on its own 2 feet. And I get leaving some threads open to a sequel, but in Alita, it was a really great adaptation. I hated how in the ending it's like, oh, let's hint at the next villain and then end the movie. It's like you can end the movie and we know that the conflict isn't over, but let's wrap up the conflict that we're addressing in this movie and just give it an ending. But I really don't like it when movies that are part of a sequel, like the ending is not, like they don't treat it like it should be a self-contained story. That sure, you can expand it more, but almost any story can be expanded further, right? And I didn't feel like the story was like self-contained enough. It's like, okay, so for the first movie here, It covered the fall of House Atreides, but I thought the ending could have more of a confirmation that it's also about Paul being accepted into the Fremen and them accepting him as, or starting to accept him as, the Messiah. And I thought that could have been they could have had a more impactful ending. It just kind of trailed off, so I didn't like that. It's sequel baiting. Yeah, I don't like sequel baiting. Eric the Guab said, I felt the movie ended abruptly. Yeah, I think it just kind of trailed off. And I thought they could have had a scene more, because they had a chance to do that. It's like it ends with him joining the Fremen, and it could have just been a more impactful, and it's not even that they needed to have something astounding happen, because he had the fight and he survived it. And when he kills his first man, that's him sort of letting Paul Atreides, kind of like it's hinted as with the visions and everything, he's letting Paul Atreides, I say, let the boy die, let the man live, that kind of scene, because he killed his first man, and that duel kind of proves himself to the Fremen, and he's starting to be accepted into their society. I think it could have just been done with more impact. Yeah, it kind of trailed off, so it's more of like pose. Yeah, what?
Not to derail anything, but back to the Lead of Battle Angel, wasn't there something about the movie you didn't like, the male actor or something?
Oh, I hated Hugo.
Oh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the movie in a few years. What did he do wrong?
Kind of my same problems I have with Zendaya. I feel like he wasn't he was just very meh. Yeah, I didn't think he fit the character. It was weird. Because he's supposed to be the love interest, but I felt like they just cast someone with abs, but who didn't really stand out to me as a character, and didn't really have their acting wasn't super special. It wasn't enough. It could have been more. And Alita was really good. And I was just like, the whole movie, I was just like, why are you into this guy? I don't get it. It's just like the first guy you've seen with abs. It's like, please, girl. I didn't. And it's like, and then he died. I just didn't give a shit. It was so lame. It's supposed to, it didn't make me care about the character at all. Yeah, I didn't like him either. So before anyone says I have something out for Zendaya, I don't. I tend to, maybe I'm picky when movies pick love interests and they're supposed to be really engaging and charismatic, and they're just not. I'm just like, I don't get why you're into this person, Dumb Ringo said, I just popped in to say hi. I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so bye for now. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, we're in spoiler territory, but come back after you've seen a movie. And well, I don't know. It's all I'll say is I would recommend the movie. So that's all I need to know for now. I think it wasn't 100% perfect, but it was a pretty good adaptation. Especially the visuals were fucking beautiful. I mean, it's Villeneuve. If you've seen Blade Runner, the newest Blade Runner, then it's kind of like the visuals and the vastness of that, that style. That's how he films things, and I think it fit Dune so well. The designs were, I didn't think, I said this earlier, but I didn't think they weren't phoning it in with any parts of the designs. The only thing that I didn't super like were Baron Harkonnen. I thought I wanted him to look the way he's supposed to look. They're just grotesque and rolling fat, fucking Jabba the Hutt, but floats, that kind of shit, right? But and also the Bene Gesserit kind of just look like nuns in black robes to me. I like the old version of the Bene Gesserit a lot more, so I thought they could have done more, because they're supposed to be super intimidating. They're this intergalactic order of super women, and they have all these superpowers, and they have ancestral memories, and they can read people's thoughts, and they have complete control over their mind and body, to the point where if they get pregnant, they can control the gender of the baby, or the sex of the baby. Is 2021. You have to say the right word. That they give birth to, and that's why the Reverend Mother was pissed off as Jessica for having a boy, because she was instructed to have a girl, and they can control that. The Bene Gesserit can control the sex of like the baby. They can change it while in utero. It's crazy. So that's like the level of control that they're supposed to have, and they're consultants to all these like powerful houses, and they kind of control and manipulate things from behind the curtains. So they're supposed to be that intimidating, and I think the Reverend Mother was intimidating, but the Bene Gesserit designs in general didn't really come across as, oh, they're supposed to be like this really powerful and really feared organization. But maybe we'll see more of that in the second book. I don't know. Yeah, that's also what I thought. I thought Jessica could have been more. I didn't like. I thought she should have been more in control of herself at certain times.
You mean film, not book? You said book. You mean film?
Oh, film. Yeah.
Okay.
The second film. Yeah. Bad. Elda says they're intimidating because what they represent, not how they look. They're ladies of the court and society. I think the design should reflect that, though. I think they could have pushed the design some more. Like, of course, what they do is what's important, but I'm all about like the visuals being pushed, because it's fine. It wasn't bad that they just look like nuns in black robes, but I like to see, and the concept art and the designs for everything else in the movie they weren't phoning everything in. They were thinking everything through. It's like they had the bull motifs everywhere, and they had, I noticed like the shape design for the Harkonnens and the Atreides were different. Atreides was all angles. Harkonnens were like round and like these dark shapes. And I was like, I noticed that the shape language was very clear. And I even noticed the music. I usually don't notice music because I'm just like musically stunted, but the scores for like each house, when the big battle between them happened, I can like hear the different music scores coming in. Like, all that was handled well. So I like it when things are pushed further than like what they need to be. I'm a little picky. They are mistrusted. They're also feared, though. They are feared. Yeah, Lady Jessica is definitely more mistrusted in the books, but I'm fine with. I think they just didn't have time to over-explain. Like that would have taken so much more time to explain that there was a plot against Lady Jessica and everything, and people were suspicious of her in the movie. So I'm fine with them cutting that part out. Yeah, I feel like the Harkonnen designs were very Geiger, especially when the Baron was in the bath and everything. But yeah. But yeah, in general, I liked it, guys. I really liked it.
I mean, the fact that you say that you actually want to go watch it again in the theaters.
Yeah.
Really says something. Because like I never watch things twice.
Right.
Much less in theaters.
I want to see it again. But also I'll be honest, it's like I want to see it. I feel like it's a movie that the visuals are so important that I want to see it again, but I also want to see it in theaters because of the big screen. It's a whole freaking experience. So I would say I usually hate going to theaters. I think it's too expensive. It's gross. And unless it's like Alamo Drafthouse or something, it's not worth the money to me. But I would go see this again because I just think like the whole big surround sound and big screen, it's worth it. And I'm considering going to see it again. But beyond that, there's so many details in the designs that as an artist, I want to go back and just see the details because now I know what happens. Now I can like, I don't have to pay that much attention.
You'll be able to focus more on those details. Yeah,
I want to see the designs, and I'm like, I know I'm going to spot things that I miss because it's like the decorations and the way like the murals in the houses, those were all really well thought out. And I noticed some things my first wash through, but I want to look at it again just to like kind of like interpret how they did the concept art because that's what I'm into, right? It's my artist brain. I need to see it again to satisfy my artist brain. But frankly, also
when you're watching science fiction, like. You really want some cool visuals. I mean, that's one of the big things that you're gonna get out of like watching a movie instead of the book.
But that's the thing, though. So much science fiction now. Like the new Star Trek. It's like, I'm not gonna watch that for the visuals. It's like, oh, it's pretty, everything is clean, but it's not mind blowing. Like, I don't get it. Why so much science fiction? They actually don't push the visuals.
But yeah, but like I think like Star Wars and Star Trek are also really shackled to the visual language that has been created for these established properties. Whereas Dune, I think, has an opportunity because it has been so difficult to actually adapt this thing to interpret these things and actually push them to be visually interesting and, you know, cool to just like be introduced to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I feel like even if there's pre-established visual, you could push it further. So, I don't know. Just because the original Star Trek was made on like a $100 budget doesn't mean you can't do something new with it.
I mean, I think they did do something new. Like, I don't like either one of those properties, but I do think that they did something new is not something that I would like, and they was like trying to be faithful to the visuals that people also like. I was like, you know, it's a property that probably gets more longevity out of being faithful to the stuff that they have, because that's probably the audience. You know, no young kid is really dying to go watch Star Trek.
I think if they had done it well, they could have revived the franchise. There's a lot to it. So I like Star Trek. I'm a next gen fan, but that's a whole other discussion, isn't it? They failed Star Trek. Baron in the Bass sounds like a bad play. It does. Well, there was a scene where the Baron was, you know, he was supposed to be killed, but he didn't. He survived as he was like in this oil bath healing. Oh, they could have done more with the Baron. They made him less gross. I guess in the books,
I'm very disappointed to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's. I thought they could have done. It would have been better if he was like completely disgusting. Because in the books, I will say, in the books, he's almost like comically evil. He was like, yeah, he's
he looks. I've seen
pederasty and everything, and
he sounds like it. Oh God, and have you seen the stand-in character for him in El Incal?
No.
Like
no, which one is that?
It goes extremely fat. Like it's like he's just contained into a pool. And it's like a person is like the size of his leg, so massive and gross.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
that sounds awesome. I'd love to see that in a movie.
Same here. So now I'm worried about, all right, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but there's a lot of kind of body horror stuff that happens to characters. And I'm like, I hope they push it more, because they pushed a lot of the designs and concepts, but I don't understand what they didn't do for the Baron. We haven't seen that much of the Harkonnen, so I guess in the second movie we'll see more of it. But just like, the Baron could have been more impactful to me as well. Baron in the books is the most foul human you can think of. Yeah, basically. I feel like sometimes he comes across as comically evil because he's like, I don't know, like fucks little boys and shit. And like goes on evil monologues, but I don't know, just like
that kind of comments. Like, it's comically evil. He fucks little boys.
Oh,
they're trying too hard to be funny. I mean, come on, guys.
No, I'm not being funny. That's not a funny thing. It's disgusting. Oh my God.
I'm gonna go out there and say, like, very controversial opinion. I'm anti fucking little boys. I don't want to hear it.
Thank you for making that clear, Nick. We weren't sure about that. God damn. Never going to get monetized here.
Great way to end the stream.
Oh, right, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's good because I think they still can this movie to get a lot of people into it. Instead of a movie, just make it a series. I'm fine with it being a movie. Just like how with Game of Thrones, I thought it would have been fine if they did a movie series, but they had to do it right. It is possible to simplify a complicated book with tons of world building into a movie material, and you can't oversimplify it. But with like, if you're doing like these long ass 3-hour movies and you're doing a whole series of it, it can be done right, but you need someone very skillful, and the people who adapted Game of Thrones are just not the people to do that at all. At all. Question: can I style my hair like Yomi? I don't think I have enough hair. I don't have enough hair. Dude.
I thought someone was asking for permission. It's like, wow, you have enough hair to do that?
Yeah, Yomi has like, in my fantasy, I have hair like hers. Okay.
You would
She
have
has,
to
like,
get, you would have to buy a ton of extensions to do that.
I know. I'd have to like double my hair volume. If I just bought an entire, like, just put like a wig on top of my hair and added extensions. Probably. My hair is long. It's long now. But maybe. But
yeah, but like
yeah.
even then,
Look,
like the amount of mass, because it's like bunched up in those little knots, you probably have to not only like grow like twice the amount of hair, but also probably have to shove like balls in there just to make up for the amount of mass that is taken up in there, cover up with hair.
Yeah. They have like hair buns, but most of the time, if you don't have enough hair, most women, those like puffy hair buns, it's like a roll underneath. Like you have to do that. Most people don't have that much damn hair. So
I agree. Irene is going bald.
Shut up! I'm not going bald. What? Normal. Screw you. I just didn't get the luscious thick hair gene. I didn't get the Jufro from my dad's side. I'm very disappointed.
I'm sorry, you mentioned that last night. Why would you want that?
Because it's cool. I want to have more hair.
It's frizzy.
Yeah.
I would have loved to be able to get the frizzy genes from my
big poofy
hair.
Well, it's not frizzy, but it's just like my dad's hair isn't frizzy, but it's just really curly. It's like some Jewish people just have like really curly hair, and it's not to the point where it's impossible to manage, but it's just like it looks so thick, and I like it. I wish I had hair like that, but I don't. So it is long though. I can grow my hair really long. Anyways, I don't know what we're talking about my hair.
Because it's your chat.
Well, it's also a 35K stretch goal. Is we got to get her some Rogaine because she's balding.
I am not. We're ending this stream. This is over.
Don't worry, Irene. Nobody noticed the bald spot.
Screw you! I don't have a bald spot. Look, full head of hair. You jackasses.
Her wig starts moving.
Shit! Oh my god! This is what. And then you wonder why I come on a stream and I'm just a giant bitch to all of y'all. Jeez, I have no idea why.
Yes, we prep it backstage.
Oh my god. Yeah. Ryan Johnson, I'm okay with things not being exactly like the book. Wherever you change to a different form of media, things get alters. But it's not crazy woke to me. That's what matters. Oh yeah, I guess it's kind of sad that like that's the bare minimum for now. But no, it's not crazy woke. Yeah, because we have that. So many adaptations are like that now. No, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't, and that doesn't necessarily even have to be a bad thing. But like when you're compromising what the property or the story is actually trying to go, just because you want to try and get the brownie point, that's a bummer.
Right. Yeah. It's this goes without saying, but when I'm watching a movie, I'm not looking to have current politics in it, whether I agree with them or not. Yes, I want to be immersed
it's a shame
in
to see
the
that
world.
So many people are though, because like I talk to family members and they're super happy to just get their points of view validated and not really care about what actually was happening in the story. They're just like, that was representations. But it came out of nowhere. What was the point of that?
Yo, I don't get it, man. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's like people who, maybe like, I guess you could say normies or the average person who isn't a giant nerd and like reads all the books and plays all the games like us they're satisfied with that, but I can't do that. Like I want to be immersed in the freaking world. So
it's an easy kind of seat to pander to, especially when they make themselves predictable. I like that.
Yeah, it is. But no, this I think the changes they made for this movie were done pretty well overall. And
So I know I've said it before. I'm really glad to hear that everybody that I've been seeing online is actually talking up this movie as a good thing. It looks so shitty in those trailers, guys. I was completely gonna pass and not even ask anybody. It's like, this looks like shit. They put a stupid joke on the trailer. Fuck this.
what joke did they put?
I forget. I forget, but it was like I told you, it was a trailer that was like an action movie, and the other one was just like, it's funny and crazy.
Yeah, they have to appeal to the normies, the MCU fans. But
Oh my
I have
god.
enough jokes
the
in my
problem-
Dune movies.
well, the problem with that, they did that with Suicide Squad. The trailer looked amazing, but the movie was awful. So,
Mm-hmm.
back in 2016, not the new one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. We talked about this. It's people.
Oh, did we?
They want. Well, yeah, with not Suicide Squad, but the fact
Oh,
that
okay.
the people cutting trailers are trying to appeal to the like basic bitch regular viewer. But it's like, yeah.
Wasn't like the weird wasn't the weird instance with like Suicide Squad though that after the movie was done, like the studio didn't like it, and they actually gave the footage to the people that made the trailer, so they like slapped it even more together to just like try and make it zanier.
Yeah, the company that did the trailer edited the movie, which was
isn't that just like the dumbest thing?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that's
God.
what happened.
Yeah, they did that.
Oh my
like,
god!
I don't like when you talk about like you're like musically illiterate. Like I never noticed stuff like editing. I never noticed like a lot of like music choices. They're just like I don't know this stuff, and it's just I don't notice it, so it's cool. Like Suicide Squad is the first movie where it's like, shit. So that is what bad editing is like. The whole movie felt like a fucking trailer, and a really bad one. Like, it's trying so hard all the time.
Yeah, I regret saying that. I regret that I actually saw that in theaters when my friends wanted to go, and that was not a good choice.
Oh, sure, but when you're going with friends, though, did you at least have a good time, like laughing about it? Because I feel like that's a whole different thing when you actually go.
I think we were actually getting drunk.
There you go. Yeah, like one of my best theater experience was actually going to watch that M. Night Shyamalan movie, the one in the village with the fake monsters. Is it just called The Village or something?
The Village, yeah, it's called The Village.
Yeah, that was one of my best theater experiences. Because like I thought it was gonna be like really serious and moody, and I went with my stoner friend, and we just could not stop cackling through the whole thing. It was great. I love that movie.
Because it was accidentally a comedy. What?
No, yeah, it was so bad. It was so dumb.
It was so bad.
But it was so dumb. But it's like I had a great time, and like you know what? Like that is the most enjoyable M. Night Shyamalan movie that I have watched.
He's made a few good films.
I can't.
I know that he's made good ones, and I'm not talking about that. Like I know that he's made Unbreakable and
Avatar. It was the best movie of all time.
Right. Sorry. I keep forgetting about his Magnus Opus. But that aside, it's
damn you guys.
Not
what, you didn't like Avatar the Last Airbender?
Like,
oh no, I loved it.
It's just the most enjoyable one. I love that.
Yeah, because the main character was bald, just like you.
Well,
bye, Camera.
Representation sometimes is valid, but
So
not even Lady in the Water.
Let me tidy up my full head of hair here. All right, cool. So, anyways, yeah, M. Night Shyamalan is. I don't know why we started talking about M. Night Shyamalan. Oh yeah, bad movies. I can't enjoy. I'm too upset over the $20 fucking that I have to pay to go to a movie here. It's so fucking expensive. It's if it's a bad movie, I'm just like throwing shit at the screen like a fucking monkey.
I guess I'm even more the tax because I was like, man, even in the US, I don't remember like $20 for a sequel. Right, but you said like IMAX and whatnot, right?
Yeah. I mean, if I go to the theater, I want like the whole experience because I rarely go to the theater. I watch everything at home.
I guess so. Like, you know what? I can't help but just think like, I mean, this is not the best example for movie-wise because I had to go to watch one of like the Hobbit movies, and like the only seats that I had were the ones for watching in some stupid, like, I don't know, smell-o-vision or like shake your seat nonsense that is like extra money. And it made me hate it. It's like, I just want to watch the movie in a dark room with people shutting up. Like that's I'm fine with that and some popcorn. I don't really need any bells and whistles. I tend to find them more distracting than anything.
Nah. Chimera's in a back room begging to be let back in. I don't think I'm going to let him back in. I think, I don't know. I feel like this show is a lot more wholesome without him. I feel like we're having a great discussion. I think this is just fine. Oh, but yeah. Oh, geez. I do hope that. I hope you do see Dune, and yeah, I can't wait to hear.
I'm definitely gonna watch it.
I'm curious to see what you think.
Sure, yeah, and I'm sorry I can't watch it on time to have join in on this, but yeah, I'll do that, and that'll be a fun talk to have. We need to sit down and like watch the Lady in the Water together, Irene. That movie is crazy bad. It is the one that like M Night actually like talks in the interviews like, yes, I wanted to break the rules and make a story just with the hope in storytelling. It's like, so we're too lazy to write a script. It's such a stupid ass movie, and he's so stuck up. That's the one that I told you. That's like he like refused to get the money that Disney was like, yeah, we trust you. We don't get it, but sure, we trust you. He's like, I feel insulted. How dare you not get my retarded ass movie that I didn't want to write a script for?
Yeah, I didn't know he was that full of himself. I didn't know he was that full of himself until recently. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All I know is he fucking destroyed Last Airbender, and I will never forgive him for it. But I guess we have to see the movie, and I will be very drunk in preparation.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's a perfect movie to like make a drinking game out of.
Oh, everyone, look. Okay, that's all you needed to see. There you go.
Okay.
He made the correct statement. Fine. Because I'm such a nice person, I'll allow you on. We should probably be closing out. I think I've said everything I have to say.
You have to agree with everything. You have to agree with everything she says.
No, you don't. But there are certain things lines you don't cross with a lady. All right, and I will. This stream has standards. Fucking really? Come on here and then.
It was so perfect. We were talking about M. Night Shyamalan. It was perfect.
Jesus Christ. I shouldn't I? I'm way too nice. The shit that I put up with.
I mean, you do kick me, so I mean.
Unbelievable. Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyhow, I think that's...
Actually, before we close out, since we actually have a little bit of an ice, let me ask the chat. For whoever knows an M. Night Shyamalan movie and whoever has actually watched Lady in the Water, what would be you guys' suggestion on what you should drink on when watching Lady in the Water? Because my thought was like every time you hear a fantasy name that makes you chuckle. But like, what would you guys make a drinking game out of when watching Lady in the Water?
I've never seen Lady in the Water. So.
You haven't either, Chimera? Oh, dude, it is really funny how hard this guy is failing at writing a script.
Lady in the Water. Let's see. Oh, wonderful. M. Night Shyamalan. Why is it that he can make good films and then he completely sucks in others?
I think it's because he got high of his own ass fumes. Like people really praised him for those first two movies, and then he just thought that he was invincible. And just
I really liked. Well, he kind of came back with The Visit, and then I really liked Split. I saw that in theaters. I thought that was great.
Oh no, yeah. That Split was pretty nice.
And I thought Glass.
I hated Glass though.
The only things I've seen from him are The Village and Last Airbender.
Wait, you actually watched that garbage film?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I don't know. It came out when I was in college, so it's like somebody with no taste apparently was like, "Let's go see this movie." Oh, I heard there's a twist. It was terrible.
There's a twist that the Avatar is bald.
I mean, he was always bald. That's not. I was talking about the
What?
village. Shocked, I know.
In Split, the character is bald.
Oh, okay. I never seen Split.
Well, it's really good, actually. I gotta rewatch that.
Oh gosh, did anybody give a suggestion? I was really hoping to hear some.
About what
I guess
people?
not.
About drinking game with the lady in the water.
With Lady in the Water, yeah.
I've never seen
Oh, Ryan said straight gin.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll do that. Too bad you can't live watch things on YouTube without getting struck.
We
Or
can just do a watch party.
yeah, we'll do a watch party on the Discord or something. But all right, let's wrap this up.
That would be such a. Okay.
Why are we?
I'm done.
Man, I don't know why we're talking about Shyamalan. I'm sorry, but like,
Because it's fun. It's fun
I kinda
to talk
have
about
nothing-
these terrible movies.
we'll do a Shyamalan stream. Okay, we'll watch Lady in the Water, and then we'll do another stream, and we can talk all about Shyamalan. And I will be very drunk. How's that?
Yeah, because those ones I've actually seen a lot of his movies.
Oh God, I can't. Yeah, I've only seen those two, and it's been both terrible experiences. So, anyhow, yeah, thanks for joining and basically listening to me talk about Dune for 2 hours. Because you guys haven't seen
It was
yet.
nice when we could say something.
Yeah, I allow it sometimes. Thanks for joining, everyone. I am generous. Our Pathfinder stream is this Sunday. So this Sunday we'll be continuing our campaign with AC and Sugar Chris as well. So join us on my channel at 1 p.m. EST if you want to be a giant nerd and watch me wear a beard and act like a complete idiot. So that'll be fun.
See a bunch of people just getting maimed by bats.
Right, yeah, watch us completely fail and be pathetic. Man, that campaign is so pathetic. I will shamelessly say so. I'm playing terribly. But all right, thank you for humoring this review. I haven't done any review videos, but I thought I had a lot of thoughts on this, so I thought I would do a stream, and like I probably should do a more put together review, but I don't have time to edit shit, so I'll just stream something. But yeah, let me know if you guys enjoyed this. Maybe when the second
maybe once everybody has like watched it, we could like get together and actually like discuss it again with everybody kind of having more to say and back and forth.
Yeah, because the thing is, I'm not super into a lot of. It's like I'm not into Marvel DC stuff, and it's really hard to get me invested in a franchise. But I do actually really like Dune, and it's like if I was on YouTube when Game of Thrones was played, I would have done reviews of that. But
definitely.
I'm very picky with what I like.
We were super psyched to get reserve that time slot to go watch something, and the fact that apparently there's going to be more movies to complement it. It's not just a one-off. Definitely gives it a little bit more incentive for people to come back and share their thoughts after they've evolved, after watching the movie, or even after watching whatever comes next from this.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do another stream after more people watch it, or after UNAC watch it, and that'll be fun. But yeah, seems like people liked it. So more review and live vlogs. That'll be. I don't know if I can talk that much, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. So we'll do more movie reviews. I'm glad you guys had fun. No, I'm sorry. I said that we would have spoilers. Now I feel bad. Okay, forget everything I said. I was full of shit. Just go watch the movie. That's all that matters. All right. Where can people find you? Let's go that. Nick?
Oh yeah, can be found as Ink Imp on Instagram and Facebook, and I can be gotten a hold of at inkimpcontact@gmail.com.
Cool. Camaro?
Chimera the Hut on Twitter, and I'll probably have a mailing list for SOS Volume 3 later this month. Probably. I don't know.
Oh, cool.
Depends on a few things.
Awesome. Yeah. And Fiendish is we are going to print, at least we're gonna have to print a a physical proof of the color book first. But the colors are done, so we're kind of just tweaking things and getting that ready for print. So good news, we are close to actually going to print for the color version of Phoenix. So everybody should have their books in a few weeks' time. And that means I will be taking down the Indiegogo very soon, probably at the end of the month. So I'll be taking down the Chapter 1 Indiegogo. That'll be done. You can't order Chapter 1 anymore, but I will have the sign-ups for Chapter 2 up towards the end of November. So look out for that and get in on it if you haven't checked out the book yet. And join us once again this Sunday at 1 p.m. Come and watch us all be idiots. And next Wednesday for another comic show at 8 p.m. EST on this channel. So thank you all very much. See you all next time.
See you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Goodbye.